The sky above Vero was a swirl of green and violet clouds. Strange winds carried the scent of minerals and flowers that grew only on this planet. The land stretched wide, with jagged mountains rising in the distance and rivers of silver water cutting through the valleys. In the center of this world, a small human ship descended slowly. Its hull shimmered under the alien sunlight, and its engines hummed softly as it touched the ground. Ren stepped out of the ship. He was a human, tall and lean, with hair dark as night and eyes sharp and calm. He had traveled far from Earth, carrying a message of peace. He did not yet know that the planet he landed on was home to the Kirin clan, a proud and ancient warrior people who tested every outsider through combat. Their blades were etched with glowing runes that could light the night. From the top of a nearby hill, a young warrior watched him. Mara's hair was silver, tied in a long braid that swung behind her as she moved. Her eyes were the color of storm clouds, deep and alert. She had trained all her life with the rune blades of her clan, learning the secrets passed down by generations. Today, she would witness the arrival of a human, and her curiosity was strong. The elders had spoken of humans as fragile creatures, not strong enough to wield weapons with true skill. Mara did not entirely believe this, but she had never seen a human in combat, and she wanted to watch. The clan gathered in the open arena, a wide circle of stone and sand. Banners fluttered in the wind, painted with symbols that told the stories of battles won long ago. The elders of the clan, their robes white and gold, stood at the center. Their faces were lined with age, and their eyes held the weight of centuries. They waited silently for Rin to approach, letting the tension grow with every passing moment. Rin walked steadily toward the arena. He did not bow or raise his hand in greeting. Instead, he held himself with quiet confidence, a human who trusted his own skill and judgment. Mara noticed the way he moved. It was not like the slow, careful steps of most humans she had studied in books. His movements were deliberate, precise, almost like a warrior who had trained his body and mind to act as one. One of the elders spoke, his voice deep and commanding. "You are far from your world, human. To walk among us is to accept our customs. You must duel our champion. This is not a test of malice, but a tradition. If you fail, you will leave in peace. If you succeed, you will earn our respect." Mara stepped forward, her rune blade in hand. The blade glowed faintly, runes along its edge humming with quiet energy. She had been chosen to represent the clan in this duel. The crowd of clan members formed a circle around the arena. Some whispered quietly to each other, but most watched in silence, waiting for the fight to begin. Rin did not draw a weapon. He carried no blade or armor, only his determination and calm mind. The elders had seen humans before, and most believed them weak. Mara's clan had fought countless warriors over the centuries, and none had impressed them as more than simple threats or curiosities. But Rin's stillness made Mara pause. He was small compared to her, and yet there was something in his stance that spoke of hidden strength. "Step into the center," the elder commanded. Mara raised her blade, its glow growing brighter as she accepted the challenge. She moved with grace, her feet barely touching the sand. Rin stepped forward as well, his eyes never leaving hers. The air between them seemed to vibrate with unspoken energy. The clan felt it too, a shift that was subtle but undeniable. The duel began with a simple move. Mara lunged forward, testing Rin's reflexes. He sidestepped, quick and precise, avoiding her blade by inches. The crowd gasped softly. It was not often that a human could move so swiftly. Mara blinked in surprise. This human was faster than she expected. She tried again, swinging her blade in a wide arc. Rin bent backward, keeping his balance, and almost seemed to dance around her attack. Mara's runes hummed faintly as if sensing the human's energy. She had trained for years to feel this connection with her own blade, but she had never experienced it responding to someone else's presence. The duel continued. Mara struck, Rin dodged. He moved with intelligence, predicting her attacks and using his small size to his advantage. He did not strike back, yet he did not retreat. Every movement was careful, calculated, and full of purpose. The clan watched silently, their usual chatter replaced by awe. Could it be that humans carried a strength no one had yet recognized? Mara felt a mix of excitement and unease. She had expected to finish the duel quickly, but Rin's skill was unlike anything she had anticipated. His courage was clear in every step, every decision. He did not fear her, yet he did not attack carelessly. The duel was more than a contest of strength, it was a dance of spirit, a test of character. For the first time, Mara felt the thrill of real competition. Her heartbeat quickened, and her hands tightened on the hilt of her blade. She realized she respected this human already, not as an opponent to defeat, but as someone remarkable. Rin's calm eyes met hers, and for a moment, the rest of the world seemed to disappear. Only the two of them remained, moving with purpose, testing each other silently. The elders whispered among themselves, watching with narrowed eyes. They had expected a quick victory for Mara, a chance to show the human his place. Yet Rin's presence changed the atmosphere. His courage, intelligence, and calm strength had already begun to leave a mark on the clan. Perhaps the prophecies were true, that humans carried a spark unseen by other worlds. As the duel continued, the wind picked up, swirling sand and silver leaves around the arena. Mara adjusted her stance, feeling the runes along her blade pulse softly. Rin's energy seemed to awaken something within the weapon, something she had never experienced. This was no ordinary duel. Something greater was happening, something that would change the clan and the human forever. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the arena. Rin's calm presence, Mara's glowing blade, and the silent crowd of watchers all combined into a moment suspended in time. Neither of them knew what would come next, but both sensed that this encounter would shape the fate of the clan, the human, and perhaps even the stars themselves. The wind carried a faint metallic scent as Mara tightened her grip on her rune blade. Its soft glow pulsed in response to the rising tension in the arena. Rin stood opposite her, calm and focused, his body relaxed yet ready. The crowd of clan members held their breath. The duel had begun, but it was clear to everyone that this was no ordinary contest. Mara took the first step forward. Her movements were swift, precise, trained for years of discipline. She swung her blade in a wide arc, expecting Rin to falter. The runes along her weapon shimmered as energy flowed through them, a sign of power and intent. Rin bent his knees slightly, dodging the strike with ease. The air seemed to hum as his movements disrupted the flow of energy from Mara's blade. Rin had no weapon, but he did not panic. He relied on speed, agility, and careful observation. Every motion he made was calculated, designed to avoid harm while testing Mara's strength and skill. His eyes followed her blade, reading the angles and weight of her strikes. It was a skill the clan rarely saw in outsiders, and even fewer could master it. Mara struck again, faster this time. She aimed not to harm but to test his limits. Rin moved backward, twisting his body with surprising flexibility. He ducked under her swing, rolled forward, and came up on his feet in a smooth motion. The crowd murmured softly. Few humans could move like this. Mara felt a thrill she had never experienced before. The challenge was real, and the opponent was unlike anyone she had faced. The duel was not just about physical skill. Mara's runes began to hum louder as if reacting to Rin's presence. She had trained her entire life to feel the energy of her own blade, but now the weapon seemed to sense something in the human. There was no malice, only determination and spirit. The runes glowed brighter with each strike and dodge, bathing the arena in soft light. Rin took a careful step closer, his hands raised in a defensive posture. He did not strike, but he observed, waiting for the right moment to respond. Mara noticed the intelligence in his movements. He predicted her attacks before they landed, adjusting his stance, conserving energy, and maintaining balance. Every motion spoke of patience and discipline. The crowd watched in silence, captivated by the unfolding duel. Mara adjusted her speed, her blade moving in unpredictable patterns. She leaped forward, then spun, then stepped back. Ren mirrored her movements without a weapon, his body flowing with the rhythm of the duel. The energy between them grew stronger, almost tangible. The runes pulsed, their glow matching the beat of Mara's heart. She realized that Ren was not just strong in body but strong in spirit. For a brief moment, Mara hesitated. She had never faced an opponent like this. Her clan expected her to win easily, but Ren's calmness and skill forced her to think differently. She could feel the weight of tradition pressing on her, but she also felt excitement. This human had something rare, something that awakened a part of her blade she had never felt before. Ren took a careful step forward, and Mara's blade moved instinctively. She struck, a sharp thrust aimed at his side. Ren twisted his body, letting the blade pass close but without contact. The energy of the strike resonated in the air, and the runes on Mara's weapon flared briefly. The crowd gasped. The glow was unusual, stronger than it should have been. Mara's eyes widened. Her blade had never reacted this way before. The elders leaned closer, their expressions tense. They had expected an easy display of power from Mara, but Ren's presence was changing everything. The human's courage, intelligence, and calm energy were influencing the blade itself. Mara had always known her weapon was powerful, but it now seemed to recognize Ren. The runes pulsed with a strange rhythm, acknowledging the human's spirit. Mara spun her blade in a wide circle, trying to regain control of the duel. Ren sidestepped and leaned back, keeping his balance perfectly. The air around them crackled faintly, charged with energy from the glowing runes and Ren's presence. It was more than a duel now, it was a test of connection, of spirit, and of understanding. Both fighters were learning from each other in real time. The crowd of clan members shifted. Some whispered softly, amazed at the display. Few had ever seen a duel become so alive. Mara felt a strange bond forming with Ren, though they were opponents. She respected him not as a human, not as an outsider, but as a warrior. Every dodge, every step, every careful movement showed courage and skill beyond what she had imagined possible. Ren's eyes never left Mara. He read her movements like an open book, anticipating her attacks while remaining calm. Mara realized that he did not fear her power. His confidence was quiet but undeniable. The duel was no longer about victory or defeat, it was about understanding and respect. Mara's blade pulsed brighter with each move, the runes reacting to this connection in ways she could not fully explain. Mara lunged forward again, faster than before, her blade glowing brightly. Ren moved with careful precision, avoiding the strike by inches. The energy of the blade hummed through the arena, drawing the attention of every clan member. The runes flared as if alive, responding to Ren's courage and skill. Mara felt a surge of awe. No one outside the clan had ever made her weapon react like this. The duel continued with a rhythm that was almost like a dance. Mara struck, Ren dodged. He moved with intelligence, conserving energy, studying her patterns. She adjusted her speed, trying to test him further. The crowd watched in complete silence, caught in the magic of the moment. Mara felt a sense of exhilaration. The human had proven himself worthy of respect. The wind picked up, swirling sand and silver leaves around them. Mara's heartbeat quickened, matching the rhythm of her glowing blade. Ren's presence was steady, unwavering. Each moment of the duel strengthened the unspoken connection between them. The elders exchanged looks of disbelief. They had never seen a human withstand a duel with such focus and courage. The clan's tradition was alive, but it was being challenged in ways they could not have imagined. Mara took a deep breath, feeling the hum of the runes along her blade. She realized that this duel was no longer just a test of skill. It was a meeting of spirit and strength, a moment that would leave a mark on the clan and on the human. Rin stood firm, ready for whatever she would do next, his eyes clear and calm. The duel had only just begun, but already it was shaping the future of both warrior and human in ways neither could fully understand yet. The duel had been going for some time, but the energy in the arena had changed. Mara's blade pulsed softly at first, responding to her movements and her focus. Now, with Rin standing firm and matching her every motion, the runes began to glow brighter. A golden light ran along the edge of the blade, flickering like fire as if it were alive. Mara's eyes widened in surprise. She had never seen the runes flare like this. The clan had many warriors, but none had awakened the blade's full response. Mara felt a mix of fear and awe. Her weapon was ancient and powerful, but now it seemed to sense something in Rin. The human spirit, his courage, and his calm determination were somehow connecting with the blade in a way she could not explain. Rin watched the glowing blade carefully. He did not panic or step back. Instead, he moved with patience, keeping his eyes on Mara and reading her every motion. He had faced challenges before, but nothing like this. The energy radiating from the blade was almost tangible. He felt the power, but he also felt respect. This was not a weapon meant to harm recklessly, it was alive in a way, responding to strength and honor. Mara struck again, her movements faster and more fluid than before. The runes flared even brighter, sending streaks of light across the arena. Rin bent backward, rolling smoothly to the side, and came up on his feet without losing balance. The crowd of clan members gasped. They had expected a swift victory for Mara, but the duel had become something greater. The elders whispered among themselves. They had trained for centuries to understand the runes, and they recognized the significance. When the blade's runes flared like this, it was not merely skill being displayed. It was a recognition, a signal that the opponent possessed something rare. The elders exchanged glances. No human had ever earned this sign of respect. Mara's heartbeat quickened. She had trained all her life to control her blade, to master the flow of energy within it. Now, the runes were responding to Rin, acknowledging him silently. She felt a strange connection, a sense of awe for the human who stood calmly before her. Every strike she made, every movement, was mirrored by Rin in intelligence and grace. He was not just defending, he was participating in a silent dance of skill and spirit. Rin's mind raced. He could feel the energy pulsing from Mara's blade, bright and strong, yet not directed at him with harm. Instead, it seemed to measure him, to test his courage, his focus, and his integrity. He moved carefully, matching her speed without overextending. The human had learned many strategies during his travels, but this was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The blade's response was not predictable, yet it was fair, like a partner guiding him through a challenge. The duel became faster, sharper, more precise. Mara moved in arcs and spins, each strike a test. Rin dodged, parried, and adjusted, his body moving like water, smooth and controlled. The runes along Mara's blade flared with every clash of energy and movement. Light streaked across the arena, reflecting off silver leaves and shining stones. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the intensity of the duel. Mara realized that she respected Rin more than any opponent before. He was not strong in the way her clan typically measured strength. He did not rely on brute force or speed alone. Instead, he had intelligence, patience, and unwavering courage. These qualities made the blade recognize him in ways Mara had never expected. Her weapon had chosen to acknowledge the human, and that was a moment that changed everything. The crowd watched silently. Some of the younger warriors whispered, but the elders held their silence. They had seen the runes flare before, but never in response to a human. The energy in the arena was extraordinary, a combination of skill, courage, and respect. Mara felt the weight of the moment. Her clan's traditions were being challenged, and the result was magnificent. Mara pressed forward, her blade glowing brighter, streaks of golden light tracing her movements. Rin ducked and rolled, then sprang up to meet her eyes. He did not falter. The duel was no longer about victory or defeat, it had become a silent conversation between warrior and human. Each movement, each dodge, each strike carried meaning. They were learning from each other, testing limits, and discovering new strengths. Then, in a sudden moment, the runes flared to their maximum brightness. Light shot along the entire blade, casting a golden glow across the arena. The crowd gasped as the energy became almost blinding. Mara felt a shiver run down her spine. Her blade, her lifelong companion, had never reacted this way. It was as if the weapon itself had made a choice, recognizing Rin as someone extraordinary. Rin did not flinch. He stood firm, eyes steady, feeling the power of the blade in the air around him. It was not meant to harm recklessly, it was a signal, a recognition of courage, skill, and spirit. He understood that this moment was rare, something no human had ever experienced with the Kirin clan. Respect flowed between him and Mara, unspoken but undeniable. The elders stepped forward. Their expressions were solemn but full of awe. They had seen the runes flare in battles, in tests of strength, but never had an outsider, a human, caused the blade to respond this way. Mara's clan had always believed that humans were weak and fragile, but now every doubt was gone. Rin's presence, his spirit, and his courage had awakened something ancient and powerful within their tradition. Mara lowered her stance slightly, her blade still glowing brightly. She realized that the duel had reached a turning point. Rin had earned her respect, her attention, and, unknowingly, the acknowledgement of the blade itself. She had expected to dominate, to show the human his place, but instead, she had discovered a warrior unlike any she had known. The crowd of clan members began to murmur. Younger warriors whispered in awe, and even some of the older ones could not hide their astonishment. The duel had become more than a contest of strength. It was a moment of revelation, a test of courage and character that transcended the usual rules. Mara and Rin were no longer simply opponent and challenger, they were participants in a rare event that would be remembered for generations. Mara's blade glowed steadily, the golden light flowing along its runes. She knew instinctively that the energy would not fade as long as Rin stood with courage and integrity. The duel had transformed into a symbol of respect, a silent acknowledgement that humans could hold strength beyond what anyone had believed. Mara felt a sense of wonder and anticipation. The rest of the duel would be watched not just for skill, but for the unfolding of something legendary. Rin adjusted his stance, taking a slow breath. He felt the power of the blade and the acknowledgement it carried. The duel was no longer about proving himself as a human, it was about honor, respect, and understanding. He nodded slightly to Mara, a silent acknowledgement of her skill and the bond that had formed through combat. Mara returned the gesture with a small bow of her head, the blade still glowing brightly. The arena was quiet, filled with tension and awe. Every movement, every glance, every heartbeat was magnified in the golden light of the rune blade. Both fighters understood that this moment would change everything, not only for themselves but for the clan and perhaps for the future of humans in the galaxy. The golden light from Mara's blade still lingered in the arena, casting long, warm shadows across the sand and stone. The runes pulsed gently, responding to Rin's steady presence. The clan watched in awe, their eyes wide and mouth slightly open. Something extraordinary had happened, and everyone in the arena felt it. Mara lowered her stance and took a slow step back. Her blade's glow softened, but it still shimmered faintly, a reminder of the moment it had recognized Rin's spirit. She breathed deeply, feeling a mixture of pride, surprise, and respect. She had trained her entire life to master the rune blades, to bring honor to her clan, and now she realized that her opponent had unlocked a part of her weapon she had never seen before. Rin stood firm, his chest rising and falling calmly. He had been careful not to show fear, not to make a sudden move that could be seen as disrespect. He understood, in his own way, the importance of this duel. It was not simply a contest of strength or skill. It was a test of courage, character, and spirit. The runes had flared, and now they pulsed in recognition. Rin felt a quiet thrill, knowing that he had earned the acknowledgement of the blade, of Mara, and of the clan. The elders of the Kirin clan stepped forward. Their robes shimmered in the light of the blade, and their eyes were filled with awe and curiosity. They were the keepers of tradition, the ones who had guided the clan through generations of warriors. Yet even they had never seen a human evoke such a response. The elder who had issued the challenge spoke, his voice steady but full of respect. "You have faced our champion and stood your ground," he said, looking directly at Rin. "Her blade has recognized something in you. This is not a small honor. It is rare, and it is sacred. Today, you have earned the respect of the Kirin clan." Rin nodded, keeping his posture calm and humble. He did not expect recognition, but he understood its importance. He had come to this world seeking understanding, not conflict, and he had been tested in a way he had never imagined. The clan's acknowledgement was not just about skill. It was about courage, honor, and integrity. Mara felt a strange warmth in her chest. She had fought countless duels in her life, but none had carried the weight of meaning that this one had. Her blade had flared, recognizing the human before her. She realized that the duel had been more than a test of skill. It had been a meeting of spirit. She bowed her head slightly, a gesture of respect toward Rin. The runes along her blade pulsed gently, a quiet signal of acknowledgement. The clan members began to move. One by one, they bowed toward Rin, a gesture that had never been extended to an outsider. Their movements were precise and solemn, full of tradition and meaning. Each bow was a recognition of courage, a sign that the human had earned their trust and admiration. Rin felt a deep sense of honor and humility. He had not expected this, but he accepted it with gratitude. Some of the younger warriors whispered to each other. They had grown up hearing stories of humans as fragile beings, incapable of standing against the might of the Kirin clan. Yet here was Rin, calm and composed, having earned the clan's respect without a weapon. Their eyes followed him with a mixture of curiosity and newfound admiration. Mara stepped closer to Rin, her blade still faintly glowing. She lowered it completely and extended a hand in a gesture of trust. Rin looked at her hand, then back into her eyes, and he understood. This was not just an acknowledgement of his courage. It was a bridge between two worlds, a connection built on respect and understanding. He took her hand, and a quiet energy seemed to flow between them. The runes on her blade shimmered once more, like a soft echo of the bond they had formed. The elder spoke again, his voice carrying across the arena. "You are no longer merely a visitor. You are an honored guest of the Kirin clan. Your courage has awakened a power within our tradition that we have not seen in many generations. Let this day be remembered as a moment when our paths crossed in respect, not conflict." Rin bowed slightly, keeping his posture calm and formal. He did not speak much, for words were not necessary in this moment. The acknowledgement, the connection, and the shared respect between him and Mara said everything that needed to be said. The duel had ended, but its significance remained. It was a beginning, not an end. Mara sheathed her blade slowly, the runes fading back to their normal soft glow. She turned to face the clan, her eyes shining with pride. "This human has shown strength, courage, and honor," she said. "He has earned our respect, and we must honor him in return." Her words carried weight. The clan members nodded, murmuring their agreement. The recognition was unanimous. Rin looked around the arena. He saw the clan in a new light. These were not merely warriors. They were keepers of tradition, protectors of their people, and now, unexpectedly, allies. He felt a quiet thrill, knowing that his presence had made an impact. The duel had been more than a test of skill. It had been a demonstration of connection, understanding, and mutual respect. The crowd of clan members began to cheer softly, a sound filled with approval and excitement. It was not a loud or chaotic celebration, but a recognition of the rare event they had witnessed. Mara and Rin shared a quiet smile, both understanding that the duel had created a bond that could not be broken easily. The elders motioned for Rin to come forward. He stepped carefully into the center of the arena, feeling the eyes of the clan upon him. The elder placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are welcome here," he said. "Your courage and honor have earned you a place among us, at least as a guest and a respected ally. The path before you may be full of challenges, but know that today you have proven yourself worthy." Rin nodded once more, humbled and grateful. He understood that this recognition was more than a formal gesture. It was a sign that he had crossed a threshold, that humans could be seen not as weak or fragile, but as strong, brave, and honorable. Mara's blade had flared in recognition, and now the entire clan acknowledged him. It was a moment he would never forget. Mara sheathed her blade completely and took a step back, allowing Rin to stand in the center of the arena. She felt a sense of pride, not only in her own skill but in the connection they had formed. The duel had shown her that humans carried a strength that could awaken power in unexpected ways. She had respected him as a warrior, and now the clan did as well. The wind swept across the arena, carrying sand and silver leaves in a gentle dance. The sun reflected off the stones, casting long shadows of the duelists and the clan. Rin felt a deep sense of purpose. He had come seeking understanding, and now he had found respect. The duel had ended, but the journey was just beginning. The clan members continued to bow, one by one, as a sign of lasting respect. Mara's blade glowed faintly once more, the runes pulsing in harmony with the human who had earned their acknowledgement. The arena was filled with quiet energy, a mix of awe, respect, and the promise of future adventures. Rin and Mara stood side by side, silent but united. The duel had created more than a test of skill. It had formed a connection, a bond of honor, and a bridge between two worlds. The Kirin clan had recognized the human, and in doing so, they had begun a new chapter in their history. The future was uncertain, but in that moment, there was only respect, trust, and the quiet promise of great things to come. The sun rose over the jagged mountains of Vera, painting the landscape with warm hues of orange and green. The wind carried the scent of silver flowers and stone, and the soft hum of the rivers echoed through the valleys. Rin walked alongside Mara through the clan's training grounds, feeling a mixture of awe and anticipation. He had never trained with a warrior clan before, and the environment was unlike anything on Earth. Mara led him to a wide clearing. The ground was smooth and flat, marked with patterns that had been etched over centuries. Each symbol represented a form of combat, a test of skill and discipline. The elders often used these patterns to train young warriors, but today Mara would teach Rin how to move in harmony with the rune blades. "Stay focused," Mara said, her voice calm but firm. "The blade responds to more than strength. It responds to spirit, intent, and understanding. If you rush or hesitate, it will sense it." Rin nodded, feeling the weight of the lesson. He had always relied on strategy, intelligence, and careful observation. Now, he needed to blend those qualities with speed, awareness, and an openness to energy he could barely understand. Mara's eyes watched him closely. She was patient, guiding him through each movement, correcting posture, and explaining the flow of energy from the rune blades. Their training began with basic movements. Rin mimicked Mara's steps, rolling forward, shifting his weight, and moving with balance. Each motion tested his coordination and his ability to respond quickly. Mara's blade glowed faintly as she moved beside him, the runes sensing his determination. Rin felt a strange energy in the air, a connection between his focus and the pulse of the weapon. He had never experienced anything like it. Mara demonstrated a spinning strike, and Rin followed carefully. He did not swing a weapon, but his body moved with precision, avoiding imaginary attacks and maintaining balance. Mara nodded with approval. Good. You have the awareness, now focus on flow. The blade responds to energy, not just motion. The sun climbed higher, and the training became more intense. Mara pushed Rin harder, guiding him through sequences of movements that tested speed, agility, and timing. Rin stumbled a few times, but each time he adjusted, learning from the rhythm and the energy of the blade. Mara's glow pulsed more strongly with each step he took in harmony with her movements. As the hours passed, the bond between them grew. Mara noticed that Rin was not just learning, he was connecting with the flow of the blade, sensing its subtle responses to motion and intent. Rin began to anticipate her actions, moving almost instinctively. The training became a silent conversation between warrior and human, a partnership of skill and respect. During a short break, Mara handed Rin a simple wooden practice blade. It had no runes, no magic, but it allowed him to experience the motion of strikes and parries. Rin moved carefully, swinging and blocking, learning the rhythm of combat from the Kirin perspective. Mara watched, adjusting his stance and encouraging precision. She began to admire the way Rin absorbed knowledge quickly and applied it with patience and intelligence. You are not just strong, Mara said quietly, but disciplined. That is why the blade responded to you in the duel. It sensed your spirit. Rin looked at her with gratitude. He had never thought of strength in this way before. On Earth, strength was often measured by speed, power, or strategy alone. Here, it was measured by courage, honor, and connection. The lesson was profound. As evening approached, Mara and Rin moved to a secluded part of the training grounds. The area was filled with ancient stones covered in glowing symbols. These were ruins from an older time, a place where the ancestors of the clan had trained generations before. Mara explained the history, her voice filled with reverence. Rin listened carefully, absorbing every detail. He realized that this clan had a deep respect for their past, and their traditions were more than ritual, they were a living connection to the energy of their world. They practiced quietly among the stones, their movements synchronized. Mara's blade glowed softly, responding to Rin's focus and presence. He could feel the energy pulsing along the runes, almost like a heartbeat. Mara smiled slightly. She had never expected a human to connect in this way, yet here he was, learning, respecting, and engaging with their traditions. Watch the flow, Mara said. Do not force the movements. Let them guide you. The blade will respond if your heart and mind are steady. Rin nodded. He breathed deeply, feeling the rhythm of his own body and the subtle pull of energy from Mara's blade. Slowly, he moved through the motions, each step more confident, each dodge more precise. Mara's glow brightened slightly, a sign that the connection between them was strengthening. As night fell, the two of them sat quietly near a small pool of silver water. The stars reflected in its surface, and the soft sound of the river echoed through the valley. Rin felt a sense of peace. He had come to Vera expecting danger or challenges, yet he had found connection, understanding, and a new kind of respect. Mara sat beside him, her blade sheathed but still faintly glowing. You have a rare spirit, Rin, Mara said softly. Few outsiders could ever earn what you have. Not just through combat, but through patience, focus, and respect. You remind me that strength comes in many forms. Rin smiled. He felt honored to hear this from a warrior of the Kirin clan. The bond between them was no longer just teacher and student, or duelists. It was the beginning of a partnership that would shape their future. They trained together for days, learning from each other. Rin shared some human strategies, teaching Mara how to observe and predict movements in new ways. Mara shared the traditions of her clan, showing him the history of the rune blades and the power of intent. Each lesson strengthened their bond, making them a team rather than simply warrior and human. By the end of the week, Rin had grown stronger, faster, and more confident. Mara's blade pulsed gently whenever he moved with purpose, acknowledging his skill and spirit. The elders watched silently from a distance, recognizing that this human had truly become a part of their world. The connection formed in the duel had expanded into trust, respect, and a shared understanding that would guide both of them in the challenges to come. Rin and Mara stood side by side at the edge of the training ground, looking out over the valleys and mountains of Vera. The silver rivers sparkled under the moonlight, and the soft hum of energy from the rune blades filled the night air. They understood that their bond was more than temporary. It was a bridge between worlds, a meeting of courage and skill that could shape the future. The journey ahead would be full of challenges, but together, they were ready to face them. The morning sun rose over Vera, casting warm light across the mountains and silver rivers. Rin and Mara were training at the edge of the clan's territory when a sudden alarm echoed through the valleys. The wind carried the sound of distant engines, harsh and loud against the natural harmony of the planet. Mara's eyes narrowed as she looked toward the horizon. "Something is coming," she said, her voice sharp. Her hand went instinctively to her blade, and it glowed faintly, responding to her heightened alertness. Rin stepped beside her, calm but attentive. He had learned to read subtle signals of danger with Mara's guidance. The hum of energy in the air felt different, tense and warning. A fleet of alien ships appeared above the mountains, dark and menacing. They descended with precision, scanning the land below. Mara recognized them instantly. "They are the Vornik raiders," she said. "They have attacked other clans before. They want our lands and our weapons." Her jaw tightened. The Vornik were ruthless, strong, and clever. Many clans had fallen under their attacks, but Mara's people were ready to fight. Rin studied the ships carefully. He noticed their formation and the way their engines moved. He could see the weaknesses in their approach. "We can't wait," he said. "We need a plan, and fast." Mara nodded, trusting his judgment. She had seen humans adapt quickly, and she knew his mind worked differently from the Kirin warriors. The clan mobilized immediately. Warriors ran to their stations, unsheathing rune blades and preparing defensive positions. Rin moved alongside Mara, observing and learning while also offering ideas. He suggested using the terrain to their advantage, leading the enemy into narrow valleys where their ships would have less room to maneuver. Mara agreed and relayed the plan to the clan leaders. The first wave of the Vornik descended into the valleys. Mara's blade glowed brightly as she led a group of warriors to intercept them. Rin followed closely, analyzing every move, predicting attacks, and helping direct the warriors. The clash was intense. Energy from Mara's blade lit the air, her strikes precise and powerful. Rin used his intelligence to anticipate enemy patterns, guiding the defenders to where they could act most effectively. The Vornik underestimated the combination of human strategy and Kirin skill. Rin and Mara worked seamlessly, their movements in harmony. She struck with glowing precision while he moved to cover weaknesses, advising on angles and timing. The runes on Mara's blade responded to Rin's presence, flaring slightly with each coordinated move. The clan watched in awe. Never before had a human contributed so directly to their combat strategy. Rin noticed a group of enemy troops trying to flank the clan from the north. He signaled Mara, and she spun gracefully, her blade cutting through the air to meet the threat. The runes flared brightly, responding to the danger and Rin's focused instructions. Mara's skill combined with Rin's tactical mind created a force that the Vornik could not predict. The battle spread across the valley. Rune blades clashed, energy pulses filled the air, and warriors shouted in coordination. Rin moved from point to point, helping wherever the enemy gained ground. He guided groups of younger warriors, teaching them quickly how to anticipate attacks and maintain focus. The clan was inspired by his courage and clear thinking, and their morale grew stronger with every successful defense. Mara's blade glowed intensely as she faced a large Vornik warrior. His armor was heavy, his weapon strong, but Mara moved with speed and precision. Rin saw an opening and shouted a suggestion. She adjusted her stance instantly, striking in the direction he indicated. The warrior stumbled, and the Vornik forces behind him faltered. The combination of human foresight and Kirin skill created an advantage that could not be ignored. As the battle raged, the clanspeople began to trust Rin completely. He had earned their respect during the duel, but now he had earned their loyalty through action. Mara fought beside him constantly, their coordination perfect. Every movement they made, every decision they took, strengthened the bond between them and inspired the clan. Even the elders were impressed, nodding silently as they watched the human guide and fight. The Vornik began to retreat as the clan pressed forward. Mara's blade flared with every strike, her energy amplified by the strategy Rin had provided. The remaining enemies tried to regroup, but the combined force of the Kirin warriors and Rin's tactical guidance was unstoppable. The Vornik ships lifted into the air and fled, leaving the valley quiet once more. Mara sheathed her blade and looked at Rin, breathing heavily but smiling. "You were incredible," she said. "Without you, we might have lost today." Rin shook his head slightly, still catching his breath. "We did it together. Your skill and courage made it possible. I only helped see the patterns." The clan gathered around them, their faces filled with awe and gratitude. The elders stepped forward, their expressions solemn but proud. "You have proven yourself beyond what we imagined," one elder said. "Not only have you earned our respect, but you have fought beside us as one of our own. The bond you share with Mara is rare and powerful. It will be remembered for generations." Mara turned to Rin, her eyes shining with pride. "The blade recognized you before, but today the clan recognizes you. You are part of us now." Rin felt a deep sense of honor. He had come to this world seeking understanding, not conflict, yet he had earned friendship, respect, and a place among the Kirin clan. The sun set over the valley, casting a golden glow over the battlefield. The rivers reflected the light, and the mountains stood tall and quiet once more. Rin and Mara walked among their people, helping where they could and ensuring everyone was safe. The clan had survived an attack that could have destroyed them, and they had done so because human intelligence and Kirin skill had worked together. That night, Rin and Mara sat together, looking over the valley. The air was filled with a soft hum from the rivers, and the stars reflected in the silver pools of water. "You have changed everything," Mara said softly. "Not just for me, but for the clan. Your presence here has awakened something we did not fully understand before." Rin nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I came here to learn," Rin said quietly. "I did not expect to be part of something so important. But I am honored. I will stand with you and your people as long as I am able." Mara's blade glowed faintly even while she sat, a subtle pulse of energy that mirrored their shared resolve. The bond between them had grown stronger than ever, forged in duel, training, and battle. As the stars shone above Vera, Rin realized that humans were not fragile. They were resilient, intelligent, and capable of inspiring even the most ancient of traditions. Mara's people had seen it firsthand, and together, they had defended their home. The battle had ended, but the connection between human and clan, warrior and strategist, had only begun. The sun rose slowly over the mountains of Vera, casting a golden glow across the valleys. The aftermath of the battle with the Vornik raiders was clear. The valley was quiet, save for the gentle hum of rivers and the soft movement of leaves in the wind. Rin and Mara walked among the clan, helping rebuild what had been damaged and ensuring everyone was safe. The people moved with a quiet pride, inspired by what had happened. The duel, the training, and the battle had changed everything. Rin was no longer just a human visitor, he had become part of the Kirin clan. The elders had granted him a special place among them, not as a warrior in the traditional sense, but as a respected ally whose courage and intelligence had proven invaluable. Mara walked beside him, her blade sheathed but glowing faintly, as if echoing the connection they shared. The clan gathered in the main courtyard. Mara stepped forward, her presence commanding attention without force. The elders stood behind her, their expressions solemn but proud. The younger warriors looked at Rin with admiration. The moment was one of ceremony, recognition, and honor. Mara raised her hand, signaling the beginning of the address. "Today we honor more than victory," she said. "Today we honor courage, respect, and the meeting of worlds. This human, Rin, has shown us that strength is not measured by origin or tradition alone. It is measured by heart, mind, and spirit. He stood with us, fought with us, and earned our respect. He is one of us, in a way that no one could have predicted." Rin felt a warmth in his chest. He had come to Vera seeking understanding, not glory. Yet here he stood, recognized by a proud and ancient clan. The duel that had begun as a test of skill had grown into something much greater. It had become a story of trust, courage, and the power of connection. The runes on Mara's blade pulsed softly, as if in agreement. The elders stepped forward, placing a hand on Rin's shoulder. "Your courage has awakened the blade and inspired the clan," one elder said. "You have shown us that humans carry a strength that we had not fully understood. Your presence here will be remembered for generations. You have proven that honor and courage can bridge worlds." Mara's eyes met Rin's, and she smiled. "The duel was only the beginning," she said. "We have faced more than combat. We have faced discovery, understanding, and growth. You have changed the way our people see the universe." Rin nodded, feeling both pride and humility. He had not expected to have such an impact, yet he knew the lesson was mutual. He had learned as much from the clan as they had learned from him. The clan began to celebrate quietly. There was no loud cheering or boisterous noise, only the steady rhythm of respect and unity. Warriors shared stories of the battle, highlighting the strategies Rin had suggested and the courage he had shown. Mara's blade glowed gently in the evening light, a subtle pulse that reminded everyone of the duel that had started it all. Rin walked with Mara to the edge of the training grounds. The sun had begun to set, casting long shadows and painting the valley with deep oranges and purples. They watched the rivers shimmer, reflecting the last light of day. Rin felt a deep sense of peace. He had come to this world uncertain and untested, but he had found purpose, respect, and friendship. "You have changed everything," Mara said softly. "Your presence has reminded us that courage and intelligence are more important than tradition alone. You have shown the clan that humans are more than what we believed." Rin smiled. "And you have shown me that strength comes in many forms. I have learned more than I could have imagined." That night, a quiet ceremony took place. The elders presented Rin with a simple but powerful token, a small pendant engraved with the same runes that glowed on Mara's blade. It was a symbol of trust, respect, and the bond between him and the Kirin clan. Rin accepted it with humility, knowing that it represented far more than honor. It represented connection and unity between worlds. Mara stood beside him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "The blade recognized your spirit first," she said. "The clan followed. You have left your mark on our history." Rin touched the pendant, feeling the weight of the moment. "I will honor it," he said quietly. "And I will stand with your people whenever you need me." The next days were filled with rebuilding, training, and reflection. Rin continued to train with Mara and the clan, learning new techniques and sharing human knowledge. The bond between him and Mara grew stronger, not just as allies in combat but as companions who understood and respected each other deeply. Their connection was the foundation of a partnership that could face any challenge the galaxy might bring. The elders watched the interactions closely. They had never seen such harmony between a human and their warriors. The duel, the training, and the battle had all led to this moment of unity. It was a lesson that strength could be found in unexpected places, and courage could transcend species. The clan had not only defended their home but had discovered a new perspective that would guide them for generations. As the sun set over the mountains, Rin and Mara stood at the edge of the cliff overlooking the valley. The rivers shimmered, and the stars began to appear one by one. Rin felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had not only survived a duel with a powerful warrior but had earned the respect of an entire clan and faced a dangerous enemy alongside them. He had proven the potential of humans in a universe that often underestimated them. Mara looked at him, her expression a mix of pride and warmth. The duel was the beginning, the battle was the test, and now we move forward together, she said. The clan has seen what we can achieve together. You have shown us a new path. Rin nodded, understanding fully. The story of the duel, the flair of the runes, and the bond forged through battle would be remembered for generations. The valley was quiet once more, filled with the soft hum of life and energy. Rin and Mara stood together, a symbol of unity between human and Kirin, warrior and strategist. The duel had started it all, but the legacy of that day would continue through every action, every decision, and every moment of courage and honor that followed. Rin turned to Mara, smiling. We have more to do, more to learn, and more to face. But I am ready, as long as we face it together. Mara nodded, her blade glowing faintly in agreement. The journey ahead was uncertain, but they had proven that together they could overcome any challenge. The legacy of the duel, the training, and the battle would endure, a story of courage, respect, and unity that would inspire the clan for generations to come. The stars reflected in the rivers, and the wind carried the quiet strength of a new chapter. Humans and Kirin, warrior and strategist, had met, and in doing so had changed the course of history. The duel was complete, but the story had only just begun.